Aviation authorities say preliminary reports point to pilot error. And analysts say the surrender explosion won't affect the property market in Taguig in the long term. Hello, I'm Ayi Makaraig, sitting in for Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The Cebu Pacific aircraft that skidded off the Davao Airport runway is pulled out of the grassy area to cheers from workers and officials Tuesday afternoon. The aircraft has been on the grassy area since Sunday after it overshot the runway amid heavy rain. The incident forces the closure of the country's third busiest airport. Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines Airport Area Manager Frederick San Felix says the airport resumes operations at 8 p.m. Local airport authorities allow Cebu Pacific to continue towing away the aircraft despite the order of the CAAP. In a 2 p.m. statement, Cebu Pacific says it hired a Singapore engineering company to extract the plane. CAAP wanted to take over removal operations after the airline missed several deadlines. On Tuesday, CAAP Deputy Director General John Andrews cites initial findings that show nothing was wrong with the plane's engine. He adds, "We now have evidence that points to possible human factor. It may be pilot error." On Monday, Cebu Pacific President Lance Gokongwei called it an unfortunate incident and issues a personal apology to passengers. A lawyer of the owner of the two surrender unit that exploded Friday says the unit still had to be inspected after renovations to the apartment. Raymond Fortune, counsel of unit owner George Caton, says Unit 501B was not yet cleared by surrender management, a requirement before it can be rented out. But surrender management allowed Caton's family to lend the apartment for 9 days to their friend, Angelito San Juan. Fortune says Caton's daughter is expected to arrive Friday to cooperate with the probe and provide documents on the renovations done in the unit. Investigators have not yet identified the cause of the blast, but the probe is looking at engineering issues as a possible cause. Ayala Land says residents of affected surrender buildings are given temporary lodging and will be allowed to return home once the authorities give clearance. Property analysts at Jones Lang LaSalle Lichu and CBRE say the blast won't affect long-term prospects of the property market because of the demand for office and commercial spaces. They say the expansion of global firms make BGC a viable alternative to Makati City in hosting company headquarters. The government files a second forfeiture case against retired Lieutenant General Jacinto Ligot and members of his family. The petition seeks to recover 55.6 million pesos worth of cash, investments, and bank accounts that form part of the Ligot's alleged ill-gotten wealth. An ill-gotten wealth case filed against the family in 2005 sought forfeiture of real estate assets worth 135.28 million pesos. In the latest case, the government is seeking the confiscation of the proceeds of 7 investment accounts with the Armed Forces and Police Savings and Loan Association Incorporated. These accounts are in the names of Ligot, his wife, and children with a combined value of 1.2 million pesos. Ligot retired as Comptroller of the Armed Forces in 2004. The National Bureau of Investigation finishes its probe on the failed attempt by over 200 armed followers of Sultan Jamalul Karam III to reclaim Sabah. In an interview Tuesday, NBI Deputy Director for Regional Operations Virgilio Mendez says they submitted the report to Justice Secretary Leila De Lima. De Lima earlier announced it is up to President Aquino to release the findings. The probe aimed to determine who should be held liable for the standoff. In February, Malaysian authorities cornered followers of the Sultan in Sabah. The group, calling itself the Royal Sulu Sultanate Army, staged the operation to stake their claim on Sabah. Pollution in the streets of Manila is harming motorists' health. A local company aims to ease the problem through paint and artwork. Devon Wong reports.
It's not unusual to see people holding their noses and mouths in EDSA traffic. We may not see it, but we're breathing in a very real problem.
When I first moved into the neighborhood, I developed a chronic cough. My friends joked, calling it the EDSA lung, but the long-term effects of everyday air pollution are no laughing matter. It's a very real concern for the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority.
It's not good for tourists. It's not good for people who inhabit Metro Manila.
Jimenez says that EDSA carries 3 times the amount of traffic than its capacity on a daily basis. The sight of traffic is an eyesore to most commuters in Metro Manila, but Jimenez is more concerned about the health effects.
That, every time I go to the communities, I always inform them, do you think the air you're breathing now is clean?
But out of thin air, a local company approaches Jimenez with a colorful idea.
It's an air cleaning paint, and that's a very, very new concept. Whatever surface you paint it on, that surface becomes an air purifier.
The paint combines existing technologies to turn every painted surface into an active air filter. They work with government towards an ambitious goal, to paint murals along the most heavily polluted sections of EDSA using the high-tech paint. Initial tests before and after the painted murals proved to have some positive results on reducing the level of air pollutants.
Purely in terms of reduction of nitrogen oxides, it's worth about 1,000 trees, really. When we paint 8 of these, which we're planning to do, it's sort of the equivalent of planting 8,000 trees.
But what about the people who spend most of their waking hours along EDSA?
Kasi usok hindi mo maiwasan Araw-araw yang usok Isa para akong inuubo
Do they notice the difference of the high-tech artwork?
Kakabawas po. Saka maganda tingnan talaga. Kahangahangang Saka malinis ang hangin. Pag mo, lalo't pag araw-araw ka nandito, naalis yung sakit ng ulo. hindi po puro usok ang makikita mo.
The project is halfway through painting, but the battle for clean air is far from won.
This is a long work or long fight that we have to do.
Filipinos are not likely to give up their vehicles, but Jimenez hopes the public and private sectors will evolve a solution.
The project is a creative attempt in managing Manila's growing urban development. It might be a superficial approach in addressing the city's air pollution issue, but at least it's scratching the surface. Devin Wong, Rappler, Manila.
Crowdsourcing Week, the first international conference on crowd innovation, begins its first day of talks and panel discussions Tuesday. Global thought leaders and experts gather in Singapore to share future-oriented insights into innovation, crowdsourcing, and effectiveness. Participants live tweet insights and images of the event throughout the day. We are special SG coach Shelly Coopers of crowdsourced market intelligence firm Chaotix. She says crowdsourcing is about tapping into the hearts and minds of many for a common purpose. Crowdsourcing.org shares ideas from Sarah Racher of the creatives company Future Brand. Racher says, to know what's going on, talk to the people that do the service. User @Gibriana tweets, light bulb moment for @ImageBriefs @Simona Moss, realizing 90% of the world's photographic content was not available online. User @Gemma B. Mendoza quotes Roger Ewan of Closet.co on policing the crowd. He says, by definition, the crowd cannot be controlled. You can only moderate. Rappler CEO Maria Ressa also attends a conference. She speaks on media disruption through crowdsourcing and social network theory and highlights Rappler's Smooth Navigator. Talks continue Wednesday with Secretary of Presidential Communications Ricky Carandang as the first keynote speaker. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 7, a newly signed law considers the welfare of priests by allowing them to carry firearms outside their houses. But Catholic bishops give this legal provision the cold shoulder, saying priests as men of peace shouldn't own guns. The law classifies priests as among those under actual threat or in imminent danger. At least 3 Catholic bishops say priests shouldn't use weapons for self-defense because they should imitate Christ. And at number 10, Catholic bishops urge family and friends to guide international artist Charis Pempenco after the singer reveals she is a lesbian. The head of the Family and Life Unit of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines says they are not condemning Charis, but adds, in this time of her life that she is experiencing an identity crisis regarding her sexual orientation, we would rather not prejudge her. Father Melvin Castro also says the church condemns only homosexual acts, not homosexuals. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. The Miami Heat advances to the NBA Finals after smothering the Indiana Pacers 99-76 in Game 7 of their Eastern Conference Championship Series. LeBron James explodes for 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists to lead the reigning world champions to their third consecutive appearance in the NBA Finals. Dwayne Wade, who has been struggling in the series, breaks out of a slump to contribute 19 points and 9 rebounds. The Miami Heat will defend their NBA title against the well-rested San Antonio Spurs on Friday in the Philippines. After getting treatment abroad for the upper jaw she lost for her heroic act saving her owners, dog hero Kabang is ready to return to the Philippines. Josh Villanueva reports.
So she's really a national hero in the Philippines.
There are stories of dog superheroes, and then there's the story of Kabang. Considered a hero in her hometown of Zamboanga City, Kabang is an Askal, a native dog who shot into national fame in 2011 when she thrust herself onto a speeding motorcycle to save the lives of her 2 owners. The accident ripped off her upper jaw, a deformity many thought she would not survive. Her story is also one for the social media history books. A Facebook page, Care for Kabang, was set up to raise funds to fly her to the United States to receive treatment.
There was never a time that they didn't stop asking how Kabang is doing.
9 months and $20,000 later, she arrived at the University of California, Davis in October of last year. Her escort to the U.S., veterinarian Anton Lim, says they looked for the best doctors to help her.
But I saw the resume of the doctors who are assigned to Kabang, and they've been doing this all their life.
She was, as you know, in the accident about...
But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Doctors found out Kabang was also suffering from heartworm and a form of infectious cancer. And it was important that she received treatment before they could attend to her face wounds. Finally, in March, doctors began reconstructive surgery, which included removing her upper teeth and reconstructing one of her eyelids. Her facial wounds were closed with skin flaps that were brought forward from the top and sides of her head. Nasal openings were also reconstructed, giving her 2 new permanent nostrils. The 5-hour operation was a success. Late last month, doctors gave her a clean bill of health to return to the Philippines. Today, Kabang is discharged from the hospital and is scheduled to fly home on Thursday to a hero's welcome from her family. Josh Villanueva, Rappler, Manila.
Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of our front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that got the most clicks. On today's mood navigator, we see 1 yellow circle. On the top story, Cebu Pacific plane overshoots Davao Airport runway has 43% of readers feeling afraid, 30% angry. A related story, Cebu Pacific CEO on Davao incident, sorry, has 77% of people feeling angry. Another story that got people angry, defeated mayoral candidate padlock school. It's about a political dispute in General Santos City with the school and its students caught in between, has 83% of people feeling angry. Still another big red circle, nuclear power for the Philippines, has 41% of readers feeling angry. This is about the rehabilitation plan for the Bataan nuclear power plant. All contributing to the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. That's Rappler's newscast for today, Tuesday, June 4, 2013. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Ayi Makaraig, and as we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.